It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you. Because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar today with the fabulous Wayfair on Ferret Street, where they have a 3-hour happy hour here every single day where drinks are half price, and so is the bar food. It's also the home of Not Your Mama's Frosé. The Frosé is a perfect summer drink. It's a frozen cocktail made with dry rosé, vodka, Saint Germain, Peychaud's bitters. You could have got one of those, Darcy. It's not too late to change your order. You want one? Yell out, get me a frosé.
Can I change to a frosé? I just heard about it.
It's the greatest.
Or I'll get it in a
It's made with lemon juice and a house-made strawberry basil syrup.
Double
See,
fisting.
you can have both
I'll
drinks.
just have both drinks.
This is Darcy Malone from Darcy Malone and the Tangle.
Hello.
Hey,
I love to drink.
that's a good way to introduce you. I love to drink. Is that a quote?
It is now.
How often, when did you have your last drink? Today?
No, I think it was with Catherine last night.
With last night?
Yeah,
And
it
you
was
guys are
last
still
night.
together? You've
Yeah,
been together
with
all night, you and
champagne.
Catherine?
No, I went back there today.
Where's there?
At Catherine's home where we have drinks.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you were drinking with Catherine last
Yeah.
night and you went back to her home today for more drinks?
I work for her.
Do
and,
you?
And we drink.
Oh, that's cool. What do? You were talking about Catherine Clemitis, who's also been on our show recently, who has a new book coming out
She does.
any day.
Breed all about it.
Breed all about it. About
Yeah.
breeding.
About
Nice.
dog breeding.
It's not. Oh, I thought it was about breeding humans.
No.
Oh,
no.
I thought it was like a porno thing.
No.
Oh, that changes everything. It's about dogs, Catherine.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my God,
about
okay, it's about dogs.
dogs.
So
Yeah.
you were working for Catherine.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good job because last time I spoke to you, you were in a rock band. So that's
Well,
good that you got rid of that.
doing that.
Oh, you still do.
Yes, that's my main deal.
You're really,
Darcy Malone and the Tangle.
and the Tangle. You are the
And
Darcy Malone
I
from
am
Darcy Malone and the Tangle.
From Darcy Malone and the Tangle.
And this
we are
is
still
Rory
going
Calais,
strong.
who's also in the Tangle.
Yes.
I am, yes.
Hi, Rory. Nice to
Hi,
see
Grant.
you too.
Good to see you again.
It's
Guitar,
nice to see.
guitar player extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Is that right? I always get nervous when I hear people describe someone as something else extraordinaire.
I did forget to put it in my bio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
You're
really
supposed
is
to
though.
put he really is
and you really need
extraordinary.
to put that in there.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Really? What makes him extraordinary as a guitar player?
Rory has a dance he does when he plays where he has one leg up and it does this. I mean, nobody can see what I'm doing, but it's a very extraordinary
You
dance.
stand on one leg.
It's like a Chuck Berry duck walk
Yeah.
variation thing.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. And
But
do you do that intentionally or just find yourself doing it?
just-
Here's your frosé.
I don't think he knows.
Check that out.
Holy
Thank you,
shit.
Jill.
This is the first I hear of it. I like to think it finds me.
Really? So you're not aware that you're doing it? You just,
No.
people say, hey, I saw you doing that sort of spasticated.
Not people, person, her just now.
You're the only
Like,
person.
like guitar
Oh,
face.
so now you're aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to
He
be super
didn't know I
self-conscious.
knew.
I'm
Oh,
gonna be super
great.
self-conscious
That's
now.
interesting because
Yeah.
aren't you standing in front of Rory if you're on stage?
I know what all of
You
those
have-
She's got
guys
eyes in
are
back of
doing.
her
Really?
Yes.
Is that right? You're like James Brown.
Yeah. Except not mean. I don't fine anyone money for not showing up for
Do you get
practice.
mad at the guys? Do they fuck up a lot or what?
Oh, they don't fuck up. They're great.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you just say that?
No, really, we have
was
we
a
have
pause
great
in there.
rehearsals.
All right, okay. Hey, listen, you guys, Ashlye Keaton is here as well. Hi, Ashley, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, I was nervous to meet you because your name is spelt differently than it's
Very
pronounced.
weirdly, yes.
It's very weird. It's spelled A-S-H-L-Y-E.
My mother was on the morphine.
Which
when
I
the
thought...
nurses came in with the birth certificate.
Is that true?
Yes,
So-
according to my father
So
this year.
she's sort of dyslexic?
I just think she was drugged up and wouldn't wait to come down before she named me.
She named you Ashley.
She did, but she got the
But
spelling
she's-
very wrong.
Is she a bad speller in general or just
no,
that one
just that
event?
day, just for me.
And you've had to live with this your whole entire life.
Still kicking.
How funny. And it must be
Yes.
pretty interesting because it's like a conversation starter. People call you Ashlye.
They do. They do not call me Ashley, mostly.
Most people call you
Ashlye.
Ashlye.
Yeah. A little southern twist.
Are you from here?
I am not. I've been here 25 years, but I'm from
That
Hot
doesn't-
Springs, Arkansas originally.
Oh, okay. Well, that's just as southern, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Ashlye. How do they say it then?
Ashley.
But how would you say it with L-Y-E with a...
Lee. I don't know, 6 one way, half a dozen the
Yeah.
other.
And so it says here that,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just add the syllable. Right?
Oh, sure.
and you're,
Accent agu.
Yeah.
you're an
Accent.
intellectual property attorney.
I am
And an
guilty.
entertainment lawyer
Yes.
as well.
Ooh.
And you also work in cultural advocacy and policy.
I do.
What does that mean exactly? You mean you give away
That means that
legal
over
advice
the
for free?
course of the next year, or the next hour rather, over
Right.
cocktail hour, we can hash that out. But no, I am a co-director of the Ella Project. It's a nonprofit that provides legal advice on a pro bono basis to artists, musicians, culture bearers, grassroots nonprofits, and small businesses. So we also we're also a platform for cultural advocacy and policy engagement, and we can get into that.
Could
more
you repeat that,
after
Darcy,
several
if you
drinks?
wouldn't mind?
No, not really.
How much of that? How much of that did
Do
you
you want to say
get?
bullshit,
Cultural
bullshit?
advocacy.
Hey, man, you didn't say anything about a quiz.
But
This
it's
is good.
but what you need to get from that, I think, is it's free legal advice for
It
musicians.
is. It is.
It
Absolutely.
means she
No
bails
strings
Mardi Gras
attached.
You
Indians
need to
out
get
of
your
jail.
card.
we
right?
need
Oh no,
that.
not Mardi Gras Indians. They don't go to jail. Other people do.
Oh,
Mardi Gras
Yeah.
Indians. And Seth Stanton is here, who is one of the coolest people, and not just in New Orleans,
Thank
but
you.
in the whole country and possibly the whole world.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
I know it's a gigantic claim,
What
right?
have I done?
That's
Yeah.
a cool
Yeah.
extraordinaire,
Take a look
right?
at him, extraordinaire.
Yeah.
He's human extraordinaire.
Human
if you take a look at him, you would think, well, what's the big deal about this guy? I'll tell you what he does. Seth is the founder of an organization called Miles for Migrants. And you can probably better explain it than I can what it is.
So basically, we had the idea that there's a bunch of refugee and asylum-seeking families that need to be back together, and we should all do that with our frequent flyer miles, like all of us, like all of America and the world.
Yes, I
So
love
how about
that.
That's
that?
our idea.
Oh, that's
It's
amazing.
amazing.
You are
It
the
is.
coolest guy in the
It's
world.
so
It
great.
wasn't even my idea. I'm just the guy that registered it.
Well,
Well,
you're
who
second.
did you steal it from?
I didn't. He's one of
Some
the other
poor
co-founders.
Mexican
His
guy?
name is Nick Ruiz, and he's awesome. He lives in Jersey. We didn't meet for like the first year and a half that we ran this organization. No, he's awesome.
How did you meet Nick in the first place?
On the internet.
On what part of the internet?
Reddit.
Tinder? On Reddit?
Yeah, no. We didn't meet on Tinder till later.
Nice.
No.
So-
So basically,
so
he
It's a
posted.
dating app that works for everyone.
Yeah, he posted about the fact that he did this for a Pakistani refugee family that had been separated, and he posted about it on this subreddit that I was a moderator on, and then he and I started talking about it, and then we took the idea. We took a couple other guys that were kind of interested in jumping in, and we ran with it.
That's amazing.
Isn't it cool? And now it's a gigantic operation that's worldwide that unites people who have been separated, migrants who have been separated by their governments, using people's donated frequent flyer
Or
miles.
people who are seeking us out. So last night, we had a Honduran family who had been separated at the border. That we flew some of them from Texas to Georgia to be reunited with their family members. And literally right now, there is a Palestinian family that's going to the airport in Cairo to fly to their dad/husband, who's in Brussels.
Oh my
So- Oh
my God, that's
How
awesome.
cool was
Yeah.
that?
So that's happening
Isn't that
right now,
amazing?
right now.
They're literally
That's
right now. They're in the
amazing.
cab.
Oh, wow, that's
I'll probably
amazing.
start ignoring you guys fairly soon and just start checking my phone.
You
but
should.
I think
You
that's
should.
Yeah.
totally reasonable.
Does this happen every single day? There's people.
We're at a point now where we fly about 100 to 140 people a month. We want it to be more than
So
that.
that's
That's
more than-
astounding.
So
That's over 3 a day, according to
Yes.
my
Yeah,
math.
yeah.
yes.
And,
So
you're doing all this as a non-profit. I mean, no one's getting paid.
no,
Volunteer.
we now have 2 employees. As of
Wow.
July, we actually have 2 employees who get paid to do most of the logistics for this.
Where
They're
does the
amazing.
money come from to pay them?
We have gotten funded by a couple of organizations. We actually haven't told anyone who they are. So
Who the organizations
do you want
are?
me to reveal it right
Is
now?
it European Wax Center?
No, there's a family foundation out of Boston. It's called the Shapiro Foundation that has funded us, and also TripAdvisor has a foundation that funded
Are
us.
you serious?
Oh, wow, that's cool.
TripAdvisor.
Yep.
Wow.
So cool.
That is excellent.
Yep.
That is
I didn't even know
awesome.
TripAdvisor was making any money, actually. I thought they must be probably losing money like everybody else.
Enough that they fund something like this, where we're certainly never going to make them any money.
That's it. No, but they must. That's a real feel-good sort of thing to do for TripAdvisor.
It should be a feel-good thing for everybody.
Well,
right?
yeah, but I mean, for a
Yeah.
company like
There you go.
TripAdvisor, I mean,
Yeah.
you wouldn't expect they would do that.
Why not? Why not? Everyone
should. I agree with
everyone
you.
should do stuff like that.
Everyone
Yeah.
should.
Yes.
And you're also an optician or optometrist?
I'm an
or what?
optometrist.
Optometrist.
Yeah. That's my
What?
side gig
Yeah.
that I get paid
That's
for.
what actually pays the bill.
Yeah.
And you partner with the Musicians Clinic, correct?
So I work for Daughters of Charity. We partner with all kinds of different things. One of which is the Musician Clinic, who are amazing. They're amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
That's
they
In
are.
honor
amazing.
of the
Yeah.
Ella Project also.
So I love doing eye exams on musicians. They come and tell me
Yeah.
amazing stories.
I'm blind.
So for all of you musicians who are listening, please.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, so
Please.
hang on. So
We are.
Be in
so we've
touch.
got free eye care for musicians and
Thank
free
you.
legal aid for musicians here at
Right.
the same table.
Yeah, and musicians.
And actual musicians.
And
You guys,
musicians.
We came to the right
So-
podcast.
Yeah.
that's
Great.
extraordinary, actually. Do you have eye problems, Darcy?
Yeah. I have
blind-
glasses.
Where are they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're at home somewhere. Sometimes I wear them.
This is how all of my eye exams with musicians start. Every single one.
But it's funny that when I wear them, though, then I get headaches. Probably because I haven't worn them.
Probably because you
Maybe.
haven't seen me.
Yeah,
It's
probably
just you
don't
have the wrong
have
prescription.
right
I need to go
prescription.
see you. That's
There you
right.
Who did you go to last time that gave you the wrong prescription?
You don't have to out that
Defamation,
person.
Yeah, I'm
defamation.
not
Don't-
doing it. I'm
Your
not
lawyer
doing
says
it.
don't mention it.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So why
But-
don't you wear them? Because you can't see, so there's no point in wearing them. So
Well-
what can you see now without them?
No, I see y'all. It's
Fine.
far away. That's the problem.
There's nothing out there, don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's
I had the same thing. The optician told me I need glasses far away. I'm like, well, what am I looking at exactly?
right.
What-
Like, well,
do you
maybe
care
for
about that?
driving, it's
Who
important.
cares? You can get the idea.
Binoculars.
Yeah,
You get the idea,
I make
right?
it where I need to go.
Yes, that's what I say too. It's
You
too much
know-
If
trouble.
there's anything that describes New Orleans driving, it's I'm driving. I get the idea.
Yeah.
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 Well, how clearly do you really need to see, though?
Yeah.
Seriously, far away.
To have a driver's license?
Yeah, I mean, they don't know that.
I didn't. Okay. You have to see 20/40 in order to have an unrestricted driver's license.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So, someone with normal vision, completely normal, is 20/20.
Yeah. What
So-
does 2020 actually mean?
So
when they say-
20/20 means the detail you see at 20 feet is what you're supposed to see at 20 feet.
Oh, 20 feet. Okay.
So
And what's the other 20?
20/40 means the detail you see at 20 feet is what someone with normal vision sees at 40 feet.
Oh,
Hang on.
So it's like half as good.
so it's like, oh,
I
half is
see.
good.
Half. I thought it was twice as good.
Yeah, that was
No,
doing the
it's-
math wrong.
it's-
Too much
it's-
supervision.
Yeah.
2010
That-
would be
that's-
twice as
so-
good.
so-
Thank you, Thomas.
2010
2010 people?
2010 is possible, and I see it a couple times a year.
Wow.
It's pretty
Okay.
rare, though.
Okay.
400 feet away is what I see 20 feet away.
So you're pretty blind.
Yeah.
That's bad, right?
I might contact
Can you
him.
get that corrected by LASIK?
Yes.
Why don't you do that, seeing you're an optician? Optometrist.
Optometrist. That's fine.
What
it's
is
only mildly insulting.
What is the difference between an optician and an
Minor
optometrist?
distinction.
Opticians are the guys that make glasses.
And what is an optometrist?
I'm the one who does your eye exam.
But you're not you're not an ophthalmologist.
I'm not an ophthalmologist. I don't do surgery.
Okay.
Yeah.
So optometrist has actually got some sort of education in the guy that says, like, is that further away? or is
Darcy,
that-
you're having your mind blown right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I'm like, wow. There's so many octo words.
Yeah.
Who knew?
We have a few too many.
Are you writing songs these days, Darcy? Could you get this into a song?
Into an
Optometrist,
optometry
optician,
song?
and ophthalmologist.
I need some time.
Can my office hire you to
There-
write a
yes,
song?
A
I'll-
jingle.
yeah,
We're
I'll
gonna
do
run into
jingle
a
for
copyright
you.
thing. We should ask her, like,
Yeah,
because
I
it's your
know.
idea. Now it's our song. Like, it might be a little murky, you know?
Concept to completion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need a jingle?
I need a writing credit. Right?
If you need a writing credit, come see me.
Okay.
Make sure that you.
What do you need
We'll
a
come
jingle
up with your
for?
catchphrase.
For your optometry clinic?
A jingle?
A jingle. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Like
what do you
Chip
want?
Forstall.
He
What do you-
takes care of
Yeah.
it all.
Only it's Seth.
Yeah.
What's your last name?
Stanton.
Seth Stanton, the obstetrician.
No.
not
Not
an obstetrician.
No.
Obstetrician.
It's getting worse.
Which word is
Optician.
it? Obstetrician.
Optometrist.
Optometrist.
This is a derivative work. For
Optometrist doesn't
commercial.
rhyme with anything.
Yeah, no, it
it's
really
not.
doesn't.
What does optometrist rhyme with? You must know. You've been one
I
for
really don't.
optometrist. C-Rock, any ideas? What does optometrist rhyme with?
Polygamist.
Polygamist.
Wow.
What about
Where
flip?
are-
Yeah, everybody's got to get writing credit now.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna sell.
I don't either. But
He's
it's
the
there for you.
optometrist that gives the view you missed. It's
Ah.
Seth.
Yeah.
What's your last name again?
Stanton.
Stanton.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Stanton
doing
is
that.
a
Just
good
skip
word.
that part.
Stands.
Yeah.
What's the name of the company, though?
It's Daughters of Charity, but the problem is Daughters of Charity is actually about to change its name.
To what?
No.
Not a good brand.
DePaul's.
That's better for
Hopefully
a
none of them are
rhyme.
listening right
Yeah.
now because they'll be offended because I definitely went to an entire afternoon of
And you
meetings
paid no attention.
where they talked about the name change and I forgot it.
If it's DePaul, that would be really good because that would rhyme great.
DePaul,
Yeah.
You've got it all.
you've got it all.
Oh, y'all go to
With
DePaul.
Oh, then
Yeah.
we really all will all be sued by Chip Forstall. Yeah.
Oh, what's
One call.
what's Chip?
DePaul.
Do you
Yeah.
do a Chip Forstall ad?
No,
Well, who have you done one for? Anybody?
no one.
That was Machia Lake.
Seth.
Yes.
Hey, listen. I see we have.
Actually, I did. I did a hospital commercial with Dave Torkanowski, and I remember it was really. The song was "I Need a Reason to Live." That was the.
Oh,
I need a reason to
the-
live.
yeah, that was part of the song
For
the
a hospital?
Yeah.
That seems
That's a
pretty
strange
grim.
choice, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember when we were recording it, I was like,
Guess so. That
this is really.
Did
That's
Torkanowski
crazy.
write that lyric?
He did. He did.
He might have done that for a joke, and they went for
I
it.
think he was like trying to be funny, and
Yeah.
they were like, "That's
It's
perfect."
great. We love it, Dave.
I don't want a writing credit for
No.
Well, do you know what hospital that was? Could we find that? Somewhere?
God.
C-Rock might be able to find it.
I don't know. That was so long ago. I don't remember.
I guess the hospital probably went out of business if that was their marketing.
Maybe.
Wasn't anything we remember. Hey, listen, you guys want to play a song?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. Tell us a little bit what's going on with Dusty Miller and the Tangle.
Well, we had our new record come out, Pure as Gold.
Yes.
And that's been doing really well. We are working on new songs to go back into the studio and hopefully do. Pure as Gold was an EP, so which means there are only how many songs do we have on that? Five. Yeah. We don't even know.
Not many.
We want to do a full album, of maybe 12 songs.
Okay.
And so that's the goal is we're writing some new tunes, which I'm going to pull the
Wow.
lyrics up for.
Okay, so this is a new
one-
song.
This
That's
is
an
a
amazing
new
phone
one.
case, by the way.
Look at that
Thank
phone.
you.
Yeah,
This
I
is
like that.
this is who I am.
Oh, wow.
I'm very ridiculous.
That would hurt if
That's really
thrown
the
right
reason.
way at the right
Is it's a
person.
good weapon.
So what are all
If
these
you need
various
it.
artifacts on the back of your phone?
This is what happened. This girl wrote me on Facebook, and I have no idea who she is. And she said, I make phone cases. I saw that you're a singer, and I saw that you like unicorns and rainbows, which I do,
Okay.
and sparkly things. And she said, can I make you a phone case? And all I need you to do is take some selfies and tag it in your pictures, or if you ever, for some reason, have your
If
phone
you were, say, on a
stage.
podcast, for
social
example.
Yeah,
influencer.
so I got this in the mail, and I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
But can't you
my
tell us her
life
name?
has changed.
Somebody must be. That's what she gave it to you for, so you would go on a thing like this
I
and say
know.
her name.
Yeah.
God damn
Darcy,
it,
come
Grant.
on, really? You must
I have
be
to
able-
look that up. It's
Okay,
It's
what's it under?
It's on. She has an Instagram page.
Okay.
Bling Cases.
Bling cases. Okay.
At Bling Cases.
Okay, that's cool. All right. So I don't
Yeah.
feel so bad now that we can
I'm
give
sorry.
her a shout
I'm
out.
sorry, girl.
To Bling cases. Where does she live? She's a fan of
She's
yours.
in Arizona.
Okay. So you guys
Yeah.
are traveling all over the country with us?
We've been traveling, not yet all over the country, but we are making our way around the country.
Right.
Where are you
And
going?
we just got back from, we went to, we just got back from Key West, which is a major stint. I mean, we do 7 shows in 3 days.
Who's
Yeah,
your
90
booking
minute
agent?
sets.
Or do you have a booking agent?
We are.
We are.
Oh,
working
great.
The
everything.
two of us right here.
Right.
We do it all ourselves.
Do you have a company for the band, or is it?
You mean like an LLC?
That would be one of them.
We
One of
did.
those.
However, the person who started that is no longer with
You
the band.
dissolved it.
Yeah. Right. So we are in the process of starting a new one.
Okay. So are both of you songwriters?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you registered with BMI,
Yes.
ASCAP?
Yes.
BMI?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
We
it
have
was
all our songs copywritten.
Maybe CSAC.
So you registered at CSAC Invitational. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you're recommending, Ashley, that a band should have a company? to represent it? Like
Not
as a-
necessarily. Not necessarily. We're just curious. For some folks, it's a good idea. Others, not so much. Just depends on the circumstances. I don't like to sign anyone up for legal entity madness unless unless it makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's certainly an option. It does shield you from personal liability.
Does it?
I mean, if you're practicing it the right way, it's all about practicing the mechanisms that are associated with the
But
with the company.
what sort
So
of
if
personal
you
liability would the band be?
So, for
like?
instance, if Darcy were to show up and bring her own equipment to a rainy gig and electrocuted someone, if she signed a contract on behalf of Darcy, Darcy's pillow can be taken out from underneath her. But if it's through an LLC, and if that LLC has a separate bank account and a tax ID number, and you enter the contracts with the LLC, and the LLC is an actual business and not a fictitious entity, then the LLC is ultimately
That's pretty good advice. So
yeah.
when they book the band through the
all
LLC, not
about,
through.
it's all about minimizing your exposure to risk.
Oh.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean. There are lots of options. Doesn't mean you need to run out and form an LLC. That's something that a lot of bands do that I don't recommend, especially without an operating agreement. So.
Right.
But
Oh,
now
we had one
I'm
of those.
Watching
Yeah.
your eyes glaze over, I
Well,
just
there's
killed
a lot.
those.
Those are scary. Those operating agreements.
They
too.
are.
Lots
What
of
is that?
hidden
That
things
gives
in
everybody
there.
an obligation of something to do in the band. Like I'm going to play the guitar.
If I'm drafting the operating agreement, it's going to be very simple. I'm putting this in, you're putting that in. We've got this amount of votes, and when we break up, or if we break up, probably when we break up, we can do this with material, and I can use this trademark. And
It's like a prenup type of thing.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Do you have a prenup in your marriage?
I did in the first one.
What about this one?
Not existing, but would absolutely.
You
I
would.
believe
So
it
you're single.
strongly. Single is a term of art, for sure.
Okay. Darcy, are you single?
No.
No. You're still
I don't know
married?
what
Yeah.
single means
Okay.
anymore. Marriage, the state marriage sort of situation. Gotcha.
Well, it's
Yeah.
illegal. I don't know if you're familiar with the law, but it's illegal.
A little bit,
Yeah.
but the
So you
custom
had a
around
prenup in the
terms
beginning, the first one. Did it work having a prenup?
wasn't necessary.
You had nothing to divide up or
It was
keep.
it was a situation.
Right.
For
Do you
sure.
have one, Seth, as prenup?
But it would have
No.
been handy if necessary. Yeah.
Would you recommend it to your
Everyone.
clients?
Oh yeah,
A prenup?
Really?
for sure. Why not?
Rory, are you single or married or what?
I'm married.
And do you have a prenup?
I do not. No.
No. I've never thought about it doing that either. It
I've
seems
nothing to
unromantic.
Well,
What are
You
you
got to
gonna
have
take
something.
from me?
Yeah, what are you going to take? That's what I think.
Romanticism
Yeah.
will,
Was that
will
part
get
of
you
your
into
vows?
court
I have
Yeah.
nothing
and
to
take
give.
your lifeblood away from you.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Enjoy. Cheers.
Okay, so
Cheers.
what are you going to play,
Speaking
guys?
of, that's
yeah.
a good time for. Oh, it's
Oh,
time.
geez.
Time for another drink.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
for
we
that
can
one.
hook you up.
Thank you.
This is a new song
You got it.
Brand new
T-shirt.
song.
that Rory wrote.
All right. Did you write this on one leg, Rory, or both?
I'm sorry?
Did you write this on one leg, or did you have both feet on the ground for this one?
Cannot remember. See, I didn't even know I was doing the dance, so I
Right.
can't answer that.
Chicken dance.
You've made him self-conscious for all
Right.
performances.
I'm
from
like
now
both
on.
feet on the ground at all times.
No, you'll do it.
Okay,
it's
what's
like
this
guitar face. You can't help it.
What's this called, the song?
This is called "Love in the End Times." Is the name of the song.
That's
How
why you have a
appropriate.
prenup.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a. I love this song because it's very like '60s doo-wop, which is something I love so much, and Rory really incorporated that in this tune. So it's one of my new faves.
Okay.
Cool.
Love in the End Time.
Yes.
Okay.
How many times do I have to tell you, throw you to the floor? How many times do I have to show you more? How many times do I have to tell you I know what you're gonna say? How many times do I have to show the way? But there's one place left to go, one more place to go. And I love you, but you won't raise a hand for me. I love you, but you won't raise a hand for me. One place left to go, one more place to go, and then I'm alone. How many times do I have to show you they don't give a damn for us? How many times do I have to prop you up? How many times do I have to tell you you're outside the fence? I try and try, but I'm the one you rail against. But there's one place left to go, one more place to go. And I love you, but you won't raise a hand for me. I love you, but you won't raise a hand for me. When our words explode, reload, burn every road that leads to me. But there's no fire required to make us die. It's atrophy. Someday we'll fade away and wither away if we hear what other people say. And I love you, but you won't raise a hand for me. I love you, but you won't raise a hand for me. One place left to go, one more place to go. One place left to go, one more place to go, and then I'm alone. Oh, and then I'm alone. Yeah, and then I'm alone. And then I'm alone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a voice.
Thanks.
That's amazing. Who keeps calling you during this?
don't know.
The trouble with putting the
Jesus.
lyrics on the phone is that people keep on calling you.
Are you
And
getting calls the whole time?
This happens to me all day.
that's crazy. Who keeps calling? I have no phone
I
calls. Do you
don't
get a lot of
know.
calls, Seth?
I only answer
so-
numbers that I know.
Yeah, that's the problem with having a local number. I have a number from back when I lived in Chicago. So anything that comes in from Chicago, basically, in order to deal with the fact that you get a bunch of spam calls from your like home
Right.
area code, I've just disowned all of my friends in Chicago, so that
So you can't talk to anybody
all
from
the
Chicago.
all the phone calls that come
Right.
in, I'm like, no, I'll just ignore
So
them.
you don't get spam because you have a
No,
non-
I do, but I just
Don't
I
answer
just-
any calls
I
that-
ignore all phone calls from the Chicago.
That's a
area
good
code.
tip.
Yeah.
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 So,
I-
so in our case, if you have a 504 number, you just can't answer any call
need
that
to go
comes
to
from
Chicago
504.
and
Just
get
go.
a
If
number.
your name isn't in my phone, I'm
I
not,
don't
I'm not
answer. Yeah,
answering.
that's what
You'll
everyone
leave
does.
a message,
Okay, so
and
that-
then if I want to, I'll call back.
And then you won't check your voicemail because nobody checks
No
your
one
voicemail.
checks your
Right,
voicemail.
I
Right.
really
My
don't.
voicemail.
I don't
I
even
do.
know how
Do you
to
listen to your
check my
voicemail, Ashley?
voicemail.
Well, I
You
have
don't
the
even know how to do it,
prescription, but
right.
for the most
I
part, it
switched to
doesn't work,
Android,
not
and I'm
anymore.
lost.
Right.
So that song does not have the title in the chorus.
No, it does not.
That's very tricky. Why don't you change the title so that it's in the chorus?
I don't know.
Otherwise, people are going to say, "Play that Love Me, but you won't raise a hand" song.
I don't know. It just, the chorus kind of came, and when I was deciding on a title, that just popped in my head, and it just seemed like it was I was just like, oh, that's an interesting kind of title.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of songs like that, Grant.
There's a whole
Yeah.
collection of songs whose title is not in the song.
Right.
Hey, but I can see how that would sound with a band because you can sort of hear that sort of doo-woppy type
Yeah, it's really
chorus, girl chorus.
And we have the background.
Do you have backup singers now?
They're doing the ooh.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I'm trying to
doing the oohs
emulate
and-
it on the
Yeah.
acoustic. Yeah.
It's a bit hard to do with just two of you, but it did sound good, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
we
very
like
cool.
that song.
Thank you.
Where are you playing these days that we can go hear this?
Well, we just got back from Key West. We did Tips not that long ago. We have some things coming up, but actually Rory is put together this amazing show that's happening next week.
Yeah.
And you tell about it because it's your thing.
Okay, so the burlesque performer Bella Blue and I are good friends, and we once a year or so do a tribute show that combines live music and burlesque. This is going to be the fourth one we do. The first three were David Bowie tribute shows, so the band would play, pretty much any Bowie song you could think of, and burlesque performers would come out and take their clothes off to him. But after three Bowie shows, we were kind of just like, this is a great show, we love it, but it's time to shake it up a little bit. So we decided to turn it into a series called the Iconography Series. And
That's catchy.
Yeah.
And,
The Iconography series.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to do kind of hop around a little bit between artists. So the next one up is Madonna. So we're doing
Very cool.
So we're doing a Madonna tribute show at One Eye Jacks
Early Madonna.
Next week,
right?
on October 5th. Yeah, mostly 80s, 90s.
Thank
I think
you.
no.
I mean, for that.
Oh no! You got all the good ones. All the good ones are
So
there.
you're the music
I'm
director
really
of
excited.
this.
Yes.
And I get to sing in it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Oh, that's so much
I love
fun.
singing.
So that's cool.
Madonna.
So you get to do Madonna, because Madonna
too.
songs lend themselves more to burlesque than David Bowie. I would
It
think
act-
it's not quite as
I don't
weird
know.
sounding.
I don't know that I agree with you on that.
Actually, the Bowie stuff
Bowie
was
makes
great.
me want to
for
take my
It
glasses
worked.
off.
It
Right.
really worked.
Yeah.
Sure.
This does too, just in a different way.
But the Bowie thing sounds a bit more. It sounds a bit more sort of unique.
Yeah. Well.
Why did you choose Madonna of all people? What is there about her?
We
That's
were,
just
well,
the first one, right?
Yeah, this is the first one of the kind of new version of it.
Okay.
So my wife's one of the co-producers, and we were driving around,
I
and
thought you were going to say your wife is Madonna there for a moment. Do you have a prenup?
I'd be buying you drinks.
Yeah.
But no, so we were driving around, and we were like, okay, we've done Bowie 3 times, and we were kind of going over like, okay, we need someone with a lot of different looks over, someone who's been around for a long period of time, who had a lot of different looks that lends themselves to different burlesque acts. And obviously someone super famous with a lot of very recognizable songs, because we have to fill One Eye Jacks. And then, we've just kind of, like she said, Madonna, and as soon as she said it, I was like, oh yeah, that's perfect.
And you're definitely not going to do that to Mavis Staples.
So that would
For
be
instance.
that
Although
would be
that could be
funnier
kinda
though,
cool.
wouldn't it?
However, I would be so down for that show.
In fact,
Yeah.
I'll take credit for it if you do.
It's a good
but
idea.
Yeah.
So that's a kind of a more sort of a unique, weird idea.
We
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
We've had the
Mavis
idea of
Staples
doing
burlesque.
smaller ones.
Would she have to sign off on that? Though?
Like, wait, like,
I
a,
feel
like,
I
a, like
feel
mini
we
shows?
need to have
Yeah,
that
like little
happen.
mini shows.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
But-
think it's gonna be great. I mean, even people who don't like Madonna know Madonna songs.
Who doesn't
and
like Madonna?
People who don't like Madonna are not going to pay. How much is it to go to One Eye Jacks?
It's $20 per show, 2 shows at 8 o'clock and 10:30.
On
They're
what
they're
day?
gonna go.
October
it's gonna
5th.
be great.
October
yeah.
the 5th, which is
Yes.
what day of the week is
Saturday.
that? Saturday, October
Yeah.
the 5th. That's a good idea. Is
Yeah.
there a Saints game the next day or anything?
I think so. Yeah, so I think, but probably noon the next day or something. I have no
Right.
idea if it's home or away. No, we ran into Bowie fell on the playoff weekend last year in January, so we were, they were
Perfect.
like, all right, it's gonna be one of these 4 slots, and one of them was right when the show was, and we were just like, Jesus Christ, if the Saints are in a playoff game when we're trying to do this show, we are fucked. But it worked out to where it was the next night, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's always good. Hey, so listen, we're going to take a very, very quick break. And when we come back, what are we going to talk about when we come back? Miles for Migrants?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we'd all like to know more about that.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, we'll be right back after this. And we're back on Happy Hour with Darcy Malone, Rory Calais, Ashlye Keaton, and Seth Stanton from Miles for Migrants, which is an organization, if you're just joining us, that uses people's donated frequent flyer miles to unite people who have been separated by their governments.
By,
by what?
all kinds of different things, right? I mean,
So how did...
the nature of being a refugee or an asylum seeker, you could be separated by war, you can be separated because of your political beliefs, you can be separated for all kinds of
So I know how to find you because I'm on the internet and I'm at home and, I can make a donation. If I'm an immigrant in a camp somewhere, how do I find that I can get a free air ticket?
So we go through partnerships. So we're partnered with Catholic Charities and HIAS and Caritas in Belgium and like all these different organizations. And so they basically come to us and they're like, we have this family that qualifies for our partnership based on the contracts that we have governing our partnership. And we want you to fly them and have them be reunited. So
when you say reunited, this is the people who are families usually
so
who have been
99% of the time it's someone is one place and the rest of the family is somewhere else.
And how did this happen usually? Or is there no usual?
There can be a million different reasons. For our international stuff, it's the Syrians, war, the Afghans, because they helped the U.S. government, and then
but how does one person? If I'm in the family, say your family, things go wrong in your family, how come you would leave and everybody else would stay behind?
Let me give you an example. We flew an Afghan family a couple months ago. The dad was a public servant, and he was in charge of zoning for some district in Afghanistan, and there were some people who weren't happy with his districting decisions, like his zoning decisions, and so they shot up his house in the middle of the night and killed his infant son. And
I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah.
It's
I
terrible.
was like, I'm unhappy with our city council's zoning, but shit.
You're not gonna shoot up. But no, in Afghanistan, you're gonna shoot up their house. So,
they killed an innocent little kid just because
his infant son. Yeah.
Terrible.
And so he realized that was going to keep happening unless he got the hell out of there, and so he got the hell out of there. And he ended up in
left
Belgium.
his kids behind.
He left his wife behind, and then his wife was pregnant.
Okay, why would you leave your pregnant wife behind?
Because he couldn't take all of them. They wouldn't make it. He literally ran in the middle of the night, sort of thing.
You wait here, honey, I'm going to take off.
No, the thing is, they want to kill him, right?
Right. So it's best that he leave at that point.
Because he's a bad zoning guy.
Yeah, because he's the zoning guy who,
Okay.
I mean, that's
unfortunately,
that's how the rest of the world works.
Right.
Right.
Not
I'm just
all the
thinking
rest of the
about
world,
evacuating for a hurricane or something, which is not even
No,
similar.
this is
but you kind of don't typically leave people behind, though. As well.
Well, you do if you're putting people at risk.
It happens.
You got to.
It happens.
You gotta roll.
It happens.
Yeah.
That
There
happens
are
a lot.
all kinds of horrific situations where
Right.
the Honduran family that we flew yesterday, they ran because it's a mom and her 4 kids, and her oldest son he turned 14 or 15, and their neighborhood's run by a gang, and so the gang went to the 14-year-old and they're like, "You're old enough, it's time to join the gang." And he was like, I don't want to join the gang. And they're like, "Okay, well then we'll kill you." And so they ran, but the mom realized that some of the younger kids, it was going to be too hard on them, and they're relatively safe because they're not old enough to join the gang yet. And so she left with 2 of her kids, and she left the other 2 behind. And that's a decision that, in that terrifying moment, there's a lot of people making decisions like that, where A, they don't have time to think through all of it, and B, a lot of the time they're probably right? We do this with Syrians all the time, where the Syrians are all still scarred by the fact that picture of Alan Kurdi went all over the world, and they all saw it. And so when they think about fleeing to Europe with their families, they think about their kid who's not that different in age from that kid that drowned.
This is the kid that we see the photo of on the river
on the
with his
beach
face down
on the beach in Turkey.
Right.
Right. That kind
And so they think about that and they make that horrible decision.
Right.
And then they're like, "I'll try and send for you later." And so the awesome part about that is that when they try and send them for them later, Miles for Migrants gets to charge in with your miles and actually make that shit happen. Right?
That is pretty.
That's the awesome part.
Is there a feel-good documentary about this yet?
There should be.
Yeah,
Yeah, you want to get in on that?
We need to find someone who's a filmmaker. We don't have a filmmaker here. We only have musicians and lawyers. You could put that deal together, probably, Ashley.
I know
could
some
definitely put that
filmmakers.
deal together in a way that is good for you.
But actually, what do you
Reaching
say?
the producers.
What is this pro bono? What drew you to pro bono stuff, helping people out? Because most lawyers are not interested in spreading the goodness around, really.
Well, spreading the goodness around is what drew me to becoming a lawyer, which seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
I wanted to become an environmental lawyer, and did work a little bit in environmental law and international European Union intellectual property law. But my mother was an art teacher. I grew up, surrounded by art. She brought me to New Orleans all the time to get me out of Arkansas.
Right.
And I love music, love visual art, love the performing arts. I was a choreographer up until last year. I was a practicing choreographer.
Wow.
From 18 to 40.
Where were you doing that?
Not at the New York City Ballet.
Really?
Not at the New York City Ballet.
Okay, you said at the New York City.
That's what I heard. I heard that too.
That was my dream, and I went out the window before I could even graduate. Not there. But the point of it is that I continued to. In fact, last night, not under the influence at all, was tap dancing, and one of my tap shoes finally broke. I was like, oh,
Are you
damn.
part of Tap Dat?
No, I am not part of Tap Dat.
You should
I'm part
be.
of Tap Dat at my house by myself. But
What is
but
tap
at any
dat?
rate,
It's
That's a tap dancing?
one of the dance groups.
Okay.
You know?
So you
I've
can do it.
I've formed
So you're a
organizations for other
formally
tap dancers.
trained ballet dancer who can also
I
do
am.
tap.
Well, yeah,
But-
I was a
but-
formally trained tap dancer too. But
Is that
that's
what
neither
you
here nor
set
there.
out to want to do?
I tap dance.
Yeah, and no. Did not want to suffer as much as I knew that it was probable. And I wanted to become an oncologist, and then I wanted to be a
Did you?
biochemist, and blah, blah. No, I did not become an oncologist.
What is that? Something to do with
I
cancer.
did a
That
lot
rhymes-
of
that
research,
rhymes with
and I was like,
optometrist.
oh, we need to save the environment. Oh, we need to save.
Oncologist, write that down. That
But
But
rhymes with
there's a line to be
optometrist.
drawn. That, environment, habitat, ecosystem, right? Like it all connects to culture, right? And so for me, it was clear when I was when I was interning for a boutique entertainment / arts law firm here. It was very clear to me that there was a gap that needed to be filled. There was a void.
In New Orleans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, how can you expect the arts community to protect themselves and equip themselves with the tools that they need to
Yeah.
be
That's the
self-empowered,
that's the
to be
biggest prob-
self-determined.
that's the biggest problem
It's
we've
not
got
about,
here.
It's not about entering the marketplace, which it can be. It's about
well,
it's
here's the
about
big
it's about
question.
doing what you wanna with what you wanna.
Okay.
And you can't do that without some of these resources. And I was
But
tired of
that's
seeing
the big
musicians
question.
fucked over.
Why do?
Me too.
I was sick of it.
But why does a city like Austin or Nashville have all this infrastructure and we don't? What do
They don't. That's marketing.
They don't.
You're misinformed. Absolutely.
So people in Austin and musicians in
People
Austin are
in
just as
Austin and
starving and
people in
screwed
Nashville
over.
are-
Oh yes,
looking
they
to our
are, and I
model.
know because we lived there for 3
You
years.
can go to the
Is it
music. There's
comparable
a
to-
music census
that's
that
it.
was published out of Austin, and my friend Don Pitts helped put that together. And it's the figures are alarming, and the folks who answered that survey, I mean, it was very broad sweeping. It was very representative, and the findings are very similar to what you would imagine.
Okay, so
are
I get all
happening
my
in New
information
Orleans.
from Offbeat magazine, which was constantly going on about how
And
great
I
Austin and
reside at
Nashville
Offbeat.
is.
No, they're not. Jan does not say Offbeat.
Don't you work at
Not
Offbeat,
Offbeat,
Rory?
Jan
freelance
never
a bit.
says that Nashville and Austin are that awesome.
That's usually what the
Well,
implication.
she's saying try to
Yeah,
get
that everyone
some
else has got it
infrastructure
together except
But
us.
let's not become a Nashville or
It's a
an
little
Austin.
more organized, but yeah, it's not like
Right.
But you
Jan
live
would-
there,
Jan-
Darcy.
I live
Jan,
Is
will,
it in-
Jan will cut
it's-
my throat if I let you say that. Mhm.
That's the impression I
That's
get.
where my office is, and she's my mama, my New Orleans mama, and
Oh, really?
I can't let you say that
Okay, but-
Jan would support us being like Austin or Nashville.
No, I wouldn't say that. But the impression I
Done
get
my
from
thing.
reading Offbeat is that she says often that Nashville and
learn
Austin have
from
got
them.
it together in the business sense,
So
the music
absolutely.
business sense, and we don't.
And this goes
and
to
why
kind of
don't we?
one of the latest endeavors that I've embarked on with the Ella project that Jan knows about, that we're going to be talking more about, is bringing folks from the City Council, District B, Superdome, Convention Center, but more importantly, but as importantly, District C, Kristen Palmer, who is the council person for District C, French Quarter, Bywater, Marigny, Treme, et cetera. We're trying to, in the mayor's office, went on a fact-finding mission to Seattle and San Francisco to determine what Seattle and San Francisco are doing to help manage their nightlife economy. That's not a police state. That is not, responding to certain agencies that have, draconian ordinances that they're responding to. That is actually well coordinated and equipped to handle complaints, so that musicians are not arrested for busking, so that street artists are not, threatened with arrest for, painting nude, so that these venues, can actually have enforceable sound decibel limits.
Yes.
And I mean, that's important. It's also important to a musician, right, Darcy? Because and right, Roy, because you all don't want to have to play over a limit. Your hearing is critical
Well, no,
to
I
the
don't want to be told to be
continuity
quiet,
of your arts, or
actually.
told to be quiet, right? But
Yeah, I get pissed off at this whole, like, we have to play at a certain level now.
Well, no, there
at
is
some
no
places.
level.
And this
But
just
what's worse-
started happening
Oh,
recently.
it is.
It's not
at
just started
Buffa's,
happening. This
I
goes back to
cannot-
1808.
Does
You
it?
cannot play over a certain.
Yeah,
Well, if
well,
it goes
I didn't
back
know
to
what Buffa's
1808,
was using, but yeah,
What were they playing in the 1800s before
They were playing conch
amplification?
shells. They were playing conch shells, drums, and horns.
They were jamming on the lute.
and they were outlawed and banned other than 2 hours on Sunday at Congo Square. That was our first noise ordinance. And so the idea is that perhaps there's a better way to approach this rather than continuing that kind of stream of reasoning to allocate a designated liaison among stakeholders and public officials for dealing with, the management of a great economy that New Orleans benefits from. 18 million tourists and 400,000 people living here. I mean, come on. What
Right.
can we really expect, from
Well,
government?
if you're an ordinary person who doesn't have any connection to the law or the music industry, everything seems fine. You walk down Bourbon Street,
And
it's
I'm
loud
striving
as
to be
hell.
that ordinary
Or you
person,
go
by
to
the way.
Tipitina's and it's loud as hell. I mean, it doesn't seem to be in. I don't know what is
It's
all this
not even
noise
about.
ordinance
It's not
issues?
even about loudness. Honestly, it's about music is the easiest thing to single out because it always has been regulation-wise. It's really about. It's about nuisance. It's about trash, litter. And it's about parking, congestion, and crime. It's not really about music, but because music has constantly been an easy way to get solutions for the other problems, then it's singled out, and that's what we have to stop, because we're all making sounds. I would like to shut down the huge jackhammers outside of my place at
What
6
about
a.m.
leaf
But,
blowers? Can we
leaf
stop
blowers
that?
can go.
I
They
would
can go
outlaw
to
leaf
hell,
blowers
Yeah.
first.
unless I'm using it, and then I'm going to be really excited. But I don't have one.
Talking
I
of
just
music,
wish
you
I
guys
did.
want to play another song here?
Please
Yeah.
Okay.
do. Under
I gotta
70
pull up the
decibels,
lyrics
please.
again.
I'm just kidding.
You got the lyrics on the phone behind the bling case? What's
Yes.
it called? Bling case?
Put it on airplane mode.
This.
Is there
Oh,
a-
you mean
there is a
you're
noise
right, so I
ordinance
don't
though,
get any
right?
calls.
Section 66.
You're so smart.
Section what?
66 of the municipal
Section
code.
66.
Yes.
This
Big
was
nerd
actually
here.
written by our saxophone/keyboard player, James Beaumont.
This is good for you. You don't have to write any songs anymore. You got all the guys in the band
Well,
writing
you know
songs.
what? Actually, it really is wonderful because when we first started the band, Chris and I were the only songwriters. Nobody wanted to contribute to it, and actually, we now, I say Rory wrote this, I say James wrote this, but really we bring the band. They brought the song to the table, and the band together made it a song. I mean, we work together, and I love that about our band, because
Yeah, that's cool.
some bands don't do that.
Right.
But this is called Asunder from Your Love.
All right.
We're
Can
working
you
on
tell
the
this
title.
was written by the Brit in the band?
He's British?
Yes.
All right.
No, I ain't gonna bathe in your sun anymore. I'm burnt, I'm tired, I'm bruised, and I'm bored. I'll take a ticket to somewhere I can breathe. 'Cause I ain't gonna bathe in your sun, you'll see. I'll find a new lover and finally be free. Shackles are broken asunder from your love. 'Cause I ain't gonna swim in your river no more. You pulled me under and my heart you tore. I'll dive in and swim swim the oceans deep. 'Cause I ain't gonna swim in your river, it's true. I'll hit the town and find someone new. Shackles are broken asunder from your love. 'Cause I flew too close to the sun, melted my wings and now we're done. I'm leaving town to finally be at peace. 'Cause I ain't gonna fly in your storm, no, no. Take me for granted, you'll reap what you sow. I pass the torch to someone I can't see. 'Cause I ain't gonna fly in your storm, that's right. No more beating, cursing when we fight. Free as I'll ever be, broken from your love. I'm free as I'll ever be, broken from your love. I'm free as I'll ever be, broken from your love. Thanks. It's usually much longer, but there's a whole solo section that I thought might be awkward for Rory to pull off by himself.
I was looking at the lyrics on your phone. It says sax solo.
Yes.
How long is the sax solo? No.
Well, James could go on for however long we tell him to.
You just let him.
Yeah,
Free
but
expression.
really, like if we're in a gig where we need to fill time, we'll give everybody a solo. You know,
There's
nothing
gigs
wrong with
like that
jamming
where
out.
you have
loud.
to keep going. For,
Oh my!
Oh, yeah.
Well,
you
for
have a contract
example,
to
we
play
just
for 3
played.
hours.
Oh,
Actually, yes.
We just played Key West, which we love doing. This gig is, I mean, it's super fun. We go stay there. There's a band house in the back of the bar. We go like live in the bar for a weekend, rent a bike for $15 for the weekend, and go hang on the beach and play music all day. It's pretty awesome. But we play 7 shows in 3 days. So we do 3 90-minute sets a day.
Wow.
And as a singer, I'm still recovering. You can still hear it in my especially the way I sing. But I drank a lot of Makers that weekend. But I made it through, barely. Actually, we won't talk about the ride home.
So you have to spin out.
No, we will talk
No.
about the ride home.
It's
Yeah.
really bad.
No,
No.
you shouldn't have said
mention
that.
Who drives?
Disclose.
We all drive. We all take a shift.
So this is real.
I didn't.
And that's when the problem started.
Yes, exactly.
So I was looking at your website actually before we got here today, Seth. And there's all these like your I guess partner companies who are partnered with you.
Uh-huh.
And then I was looking at this one thing at the very bottom of the page. I didn't have time to read it properly. It was called, I think it's called Borders.
Oh, yeah.
And it seemed to be suggesting that I could, as an ordinary person, use frequent flyer miles to go anywhere.
Well, you can.
Well, but I don't have any frequent flyer miles.
Well, you need to get some.
But I mean, I don't need some website to tell me that I can use my frequent flyer miles. I thought this was some way of using someone else.
They can guide you into how to sign up for lots of credit cards to get those frequent flyer miles, and then use
That's
that.
what it's all about.
But you shouldn't use them on yourself after that. You should use them.
Get them to you.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a scam that you can scam.
It's
or,
not a scam. You
not
sign
yours.
up.
But I mean, this Borders thing. I was wondering how this worked. How I could get myself a whole bunch of frequent flyer miles.
Sign up for a bunch of credit cards. Not a
But
scam.
if you sign up for a bunch of credit cards, does that impact your credit adversely?
It
No.
Very good to
impacts
know
your income
on the record.
adversely. You have to pay them back.
Well, you don't have to spend.
Since
But then
since
how are you gonna get the
November
miles?
since November of 2014, I've signed up for 60 credit cards.
Oh, shit.
60.
It's called
Wow.
credit churning, right?
Yep.
And
My,
they haven't closed you out.
my
'cause you
credit
haven't
score is
spent.
800 after that.
Mine's better than yours.
Mine
But
sucks.
I don't have 60
Yeah.
credit cards.
Mine's
Just so
2020.
you know.
Yeah, I'm just very excited.
Mine's right there with my vision.
Mine's
Yeah.
about to drop significantly after this month.
Are you
so-
buying a house or something?
No, I'm just like taking care of a house that's 200 years old. That the plumbing just bursted and
Well, that's
and-
all of us.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the cash advances with the high interest rates, so the credit
Alright.
score is gonna drop. That's okay, but maybe I can
I'm not aware
get
of
some
my
more
credit
credit
score.
cards.
You should sign up
And
for.
Sure. Do you know your
the-
credit
score?
Yeah,
Sign up for a
no,
card
I'm
with
going
a-
to.
What's your credit score?
That's
APR.
the silver lining.
I stay
Yeah,
away from
seriously.
And I
it.
can, you know, I'm actually, yeah.
I will. Maybe we shouldn't talk about this on the
We
show
can
because
we
it's
can talk
actually
about
like
it, and yeah.
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 What
If
are
you
you
want-
talking
if you want-
Consultation.
If you want a really boring
Side
thing, it's like
consult,
me
side
telling you
consult.
about which credit cards you should sign up for.
I'm not sure if that's that boring, actually.
I feel
Which
like
credit cards
the
should we
public
sign
should know
up
about this.
Where do you want to go? Or do you want to fix the plumbing in the 200-year-old house?
for? No, I
Not
don't want
everyone
to.
wants to do
you
that.
need?
Everyone else wants to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you
Yeah.
using credit card points to fix your plumbing? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm
No,
not.
I was. What
I
I was
didn't even know
saying
you
was
could
you
do
should
that.
sign up for a card with a 0% APR for a while.
So,
in order-
can you explain this? Okay, so C-Rock said there's
Let's do
a
this.
term called credit card churning. Is that
Yeah.
what, how does it work?
So
you sign up for
I
credit card.
found out about that from the New York Times article about
Yeah, we were
Miles
men-
for Migrants.
We were mentioned in that. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, well, we've got like 2 minutes before we have to get out of here. So you want to tell us what it is?
Pitch, pitch, pitch.
Credit card churning.
Yeah.
You
This could
you
be
sign
useful
up for a
information.
bunch of credit cards, and then you collect the miles, and then you use them to travel wherever.
But where can
So
you
the-
I have
so
a
the-
question.
so the original
what
idea-
if you have really bad credit? How do you get miles?
Well, you have to start with a card that you can sign up for with having really bad
Which
credit.
card is that?
There's a few different ones.
There's all kinds of predatory banks
Yeah.
that'll give you.
So you
That
mean you
don't do the
sign up-
predatory banks.
Do you get like a
even
bunch
like
of?
the main, like major U.S. credit card issuers will give you kind of like their lower end cards.
Where can people go to donate and to support your organization?
So our website
Since we only
is
have 2 minutes
is
left. And
our
this
website's
is-
milesformigrants.org with 4 being the number 4. So it's miles4migrants.org. You can read about all of our stuff there, all the people we've reunited. Some of the people we've reunited, the vast majority of them are still terrified despite the fact that they're safe and don't actually tell their stories. But some of the amazing stories of the people that we've reunited from all over the world.
So you're going straight to heaven.
I am
There is not
too,
one.
Or not.
Thomas says there is no
Maybe
heaven,
not.
though. The whole
Considering,
thing's...
I was going to say,
You
considering
are.
some of the stories that I've heard, I don't
I don't know
believe
about
in
you,
it.
This is the greatest thing anyone's ever done, like on the face of the
Pretty
earth,
much.
practically, though,
Yeah,
isn't
and
it?
then
The
Seriously.
timing is
Wonderful.
impeccable.
It is pretty amazing. You don't think? I mean,
No, I mean it's
It
it's
is.
awesome, but it's not me. It's like
that's the great thing about it, though, is that you're not doing it for any self-aggrandizement whatsoever at all.
You're a part of it. It's
I'm
great.
doing it because it's fucking awesome to wake up in the morning
Yeah.
and have
Fuck yeah.
like a picture of like some guy holding his kid for the first time.
Yeah.
Where he's
Can't
like,
compete with that.
I had to leave Burundi in the middle of the night because someone showed up to attack me, and 3 years later, like here's my kid. Like we did it.
That is pretty amazing.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That is
So
pretty
good.
amazing.
It really is.
That's a pretty
Thank
high note
you.
to end on, don't you think?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Pretty
I'm
hard to
doing a
go from
jingle
that
for
into these
you.
commercials, but I have to tell you that Happy Hour today has
You
been
wanna
brought
do
to
a
us
monster magnet?
by the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development of the preservation of arts, music, culture, and heritage, and by Basics on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. Basics underneath sells fine lingerie, and Basics Swim and Gym has a full range of fashion, swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style. And you can be a member of our Patreon family actually here at Happy Hour by going to patreon.com and signing up for as little as $1 a month. And you can become a member of our Patreon family and get free stuff.
Do it.
And if you'd like to donate your miles to Miles for Migrants, that is one of the coolest things. Is there some sort of a tax write-off for that, or just to feel good?
Not for the miles. You can't really tax
You
that
can.
off miles.
They can give you money as well, though. You can make
You
a
can donate money.
end of year donation.
You can
or
donate
something.
money, but you should be. You just told people to give to your Patreon thing.
Yeah, and,
Well, that's nice
and
too,
since you're
but,
doing
you know,
that, I'm gonna.
but
you
we're
know,
just-
if you're
that's
into donating miles and for the
Yeah, I mean, it's nice for people to
elanola.org.
support us, frankly. Well, you've got something to give money to as well.
Yeah.
I just did
Yeah,
it.
no.
What is it?
Elanola, ELLANOLA.org.
And that's pro bono, which also means free.
Yeah, which means
Advice to
support
musicians.
You
music.
can't do that
And I
without
didn't even
money,
get to
so
inventors, which I wanted to ask you about, but I guess I'll have to do that on another show.
that'll be another
Next
show.
show.
You
Yeah.
can give
Gene
money
on
to
in
us
February,
by
so-
buying our CDs and go
That's true.
online
Please
and
support
buy them.
Darcy.
Can we steal your music off Spotify and so on?
Expect to
You can.
see
We just want you to
musicians
hear
perform
it.
for free.
Okay.
Pay
The-
musicians.
Pay musicians.
Tip musicians. Buy their work.
Please do.
I mean, this is a very,
Really,
very hard
just
time
come to
live.
our shows.
Okay.
Great.
Ashlye Keaton, thank you so
October
much for
5th,
being here.
Madonna show.
Seth Stanton, thank you so much for being here. Rory Kelly and Darcy Mullen. What, October 5th is the
October
Madonna
5th,
show
One
at
Eye
One Eye
Jacks.
Jacks.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you there. Thanks, everybody, for being here
Thanks,
for
Grant.
Happy Hour for
Thanks,
another
Grant.
week. Our show is
Thank
produced
you.
today by
Thanks, all.
Graham DePonte.
all.
Monique Pyle is our
Yay,
music
Graham.
producer, and Christian Unreal is our music consultant. Thomas Walsh is our technical director, and Ashley Griffith is our Facebook live feed director, who put this whole thing up on Facebook Live. And if you listen to this as a podcast, you can go and see the whole thing at our website, itsneworleans.com or on our Facebook page, It's New Orleans Happy Hour. Our fact checker and social media connector is Andrew C-Rock C-Rack. Our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay upright for about an hour while drinking frosés, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com. We can also you can find some other shows that we've made around here, including many more happy hours. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace. Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tucker, and our award-winning podcast about death, which is called Death, the Podcast. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts as well at acadiana.com and it's batonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on a bunch of time-sucking social media, like, for example, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all of it you can find us by going to It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our It's New Orleans Happy Hour Facebook page. These photos are taken today by Jill LaFleur. You can find more of Jill's photos at lafleurphoto.com. If you listen to this on your favorite podcast app, thanks for subscribing to us. If your podcast app has a share option, try telling a couple of friends about Happy Hour. The show is recorded live today at Wayfair on Ferret Street in Uptown New Orleans. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. Andrew Duhon is on the road. If you're looking for him, go to andrewduhon.com and see if he's in a town near you. He'll be back here in a week or two. And so on behalf of Andrew and everyone around the table here at Wayfair and back at our office at INO Broadcasting, thanks for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. I'll see you back here next week for more Happy Hour.